this situation right now, yeah. Okay, in this situation, it's not the same in all situations. In this situation, you have to comply. Please do not be a superhero. You are not Hancock, okay? This is not the Batman film. You need to.
Hey guys, Kewpie, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Making Sense with Kewpie. This will talk about random thoughts on random topics. Hello everyone, it's Kewpie, the host of this podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. I'm really grateful for you for listening, for tuning in, whichever platform you're on. For our episode today, we have another recurring guest. She was actually my episode 2. Here she is, back again. Well, let's welcome Zefarra. Hi, Zefarra.
Hi, I'm back again for my second episode of Making Sense with
She
Kewpie.
back. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah. How'd you feel? How are you feeling? How do you feel being back in this podcast?
It's like the first feeling from when I recorded in the first time. So I'm like,
Wow. By the way, guys, so if you don't know, Zefarra is actually a podcaster now. I don't know why she's feeling nervous, but
it's different.
if you want to listen to our podcast, it's called Game Zen, and it's actually like a gaming, like a competition style podcast, right?
Yeah.
And I was I think I was like the winner, but because I was too good, they had to.
Okay.
They had to shut me down a bit. Without further ado, let's go on to our topic. So our topic for today is scary scenarios. So there's so many point in our life where we've been in a scary situation, right? Whether it be in a location or with people or with whatever supernatural
With
super,
yourself.
supernatural phenomenon you've been in. So for our first segment, let's talk about what kinds of scary situation that one might be in. Zefarra, why don't you go ahead and tell us what kind of scary situation that you could be in?
In society today, I'm not, it's truth, it's fact.
I'm guessing.
One scary situation would be finding yourself vulnerable at night by yourself.
That's true. Not only because of I guess scared of people at night, or scared of the dark.
Yeah.
Or both.
There's a lot of things going on in the dark. That's why right now in current news with the hashtag Stop Asian Hate, right? And before that, it was vulnerable women. This is why I always go home early from London. Whenever I would go out.
This is why I don't go out.
Stay in your home. It's safe there.
Stay home.
Literally.
Also, especially as coming from the province, from the Philippines, there's a lot of scary stories. Like especially it was like near my house. I'll talk about it later on as well. But it's just scary. Another scary situation that one might have. I guess if you do have like anxiety, or if you are a very introverted person, sometimes being in a room full of people can be a bit overwhelming. Are you introvert, extrovert?
I'd say I was introvert. Yeah, I can go in in the spectrum, but
I guess so. Yeah,
it depends on the situation.
Depends on the situation. Yeah, but like for other people who like very introverted, being in a room full of people, especially people you don't know, it will feel like a bit overwhelming. I used to be very introverted. I used to be like that type of person where you're scared of, you don't know what to say to someone you just met, right?
Yeah.
So you're just like, how can the conversation go? Like you're thinking or you're already thinking how the conversation will go in your head, and then when you actually like start the conversation, you're just like it's not going the way I want it to, and it's like really scary. So I've been in that situation, but good thing now, um, I'm good with meeting people, so I'm happy that I've gone past that situation. How about you? Have you felt that kind of? Oh,
So
were you okay with like meeting people?
I'm okay with people that I don't know in a room as long as I have someone, at least one person that I know. At least one. Because
What
if I
about what about in university? Did you how did you become friends with people?
okay, well basically first year uni, basically, in during the induction day, obviously I did not know anyone.
Yeah,
And I had my friend, Mika, I had her to come with me. So
yeah.
she was practically, she wasn't a student, but she just came with me. And I felt kind of okay. Because if I was alone, I would not know where to go. I would be standing in a corner, just like your stereotypical Asian. And she's like sits in a calf and she's like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh.
You
And
know, yeah.
and that's when I met my other friend, Kiara. And yeah, it started from there.
Honestly, at least you had that. When I was in university, I had to think of tactics to meet people. I was like in the canteen, right? And I was like, crap, I don't know. I was like, I don't know anyone. I need to be. I was like, I told myself, right? I was like, I need to meet people, right? And then I saw people, and I was like, I remember them from my lecture. So I came up, I was like, hey, the lecture is in like 30 minutes, right? Blah, blah. I was like, do you know where it is? Can you help me? Yeah, I had to fake it till I made it, you know?
Fake it till you make it. That's one
Yeah.
thing.
It was scary because like my heart was like, I have to talk to these people. So I was like, hey, so shout out to Shahila, by the way. So she always like whenever like we meet up and stuff, she always brings it up like, oh, Calvin had to fake it to me to become
Gosh.
friends with me. But you know, it worked, and yeah, so I overcame that. I don't know about you, but I haven't been in a situation where there was like terrorist attacks.
Like you think that I wonder what I would do if I were in that situation.
So
Like what
yeah,
would happen, you know?
yeah. So what would you do if it happens? Let's say I'll give you a scenario.
Okay, well,
Let's say you're in a bank. You're just casually whatever banky stuff you're doing.
if my money is okay.
You get your money, and then a bank robber came, and then obviously like the doors have been shut. What would you do if you were in that situation? Would you comply with, let's say, oh, put your hand? Or what do they do? Like, oh, get on the floor or
Yeah,
something.
get on the ground.
Yeah.
What would I do?
Would you be like the superhero and just like,
I'm sorry. In this situation right now, yeah. Okay, in this situation, not in it's not the same in all situations. In this situation, you have to comply. Please do not be a superhero. You are not Hancock, okay? This is not the Batman film. You need to this is serious. Unless you have some superpowers with you, just comply, stay safe, and just make sure you don't get attention to yourself. Yeah, lay low, guys, lay low.
you know? So for our second segment, let's talk about in depth more of our personal experiences of what scary scenarios that we have been in. So why don't you give us one?
So when every time, because I was a kid, we'd always watch horror films, with the family, just as a movie night. And I was that type of kid that would watch horror films, even though it would scare me, but you would still watch it. right? Just to get the adrenaline inside you. So the most famous horror film that I always will never get tired of being scared of is The Grudge.
I love The Grudge.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, but
Yeah.
it hits deep. So one time when we watched, I think it was the second film, the one in New York. I don't know, but yeah. And of course, it was at night, and we had to go to sleep. And because my mom's coat is always hanged on my door, and it's
Yeah.
a long black coat. Okay,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
now think of that. The long black coat hanging on my door, and my bed, because my bed used to be situated where my head's here, and the door's there, so I'm legit facing
Yeah.
the door. So when I would sleep, it took me very long to actually go to sleep. So I just opened my eyes, and I would just picture that black coat as the Grudge from the film,
Oh my god. Yeah.
and I don't know. It's just well, in my head, I have loads of imagination. But for some reason, I can just see it moving. I don't
Oh
know.
my.
It
Yeah.
freaks the heck out.
That is so
I
creepy.
I just close my eyes, even though I'm not sleepy, just close my eyes and wait for me to go to sleep. So that's one.
The first film that I got scared of, when I was a kid, was Resident Evil. I know people don't.
Really? I love that
I
film.
know people don't get scared of it, but I got scared of it, especially the moment when, the lasers and people's bodies got chopped off. Yeah, and I think there was like one scene where the guy, I think it was a guy using an axe or something.
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
like a scene like that, and I really got scared. And you know what's funny? Um, I was like, the way to combat like nightmares for me back then is to think of clowns. This was before me knowing that people actually get scared of clowns.
Yeah, before 2016.
So I actually like thinking of clowns and stuff. I mean, thinking of it now, it's like that's more scarier. Like,
Yeah. I've always heard from my dad his scary experiences, like proper that supernatural stuff when he was a kid. And it's more scarier when I feel like it's more scarier when you hear it from somebody telling the story.
yeah,
And yeah, the stories are usually it's really, like top level scary stories that you would kind of
yeah,
hear on like like just the personal experiences from people. And I always think that hearing those stories, I always feel that how come I've never experienced anything like that? Like I want to
yeah,
experience it too, just so I know what it feels like. Because
yeah,
like hearing their stories, like wow, like that's scary, but that's so cool at the same time.
yeah,
Until there was this one time, so my mom was at work, and I was probably 8, 9, I don't know, somewhere along that age. My mom was at work. It was midday, so 1 p.m., around early afternoon. And my dad was downstairs watching the news, just chilling. And my two older brothers went out of the house to go to town just to do some shopping.
yeah,
And, as a little sister, I'm like, I just go around the house because I feel like it. I went up to their room and I went to the window just to see them off. And I could just like see them walking in distance, like as they go further away. And then I was so concentrated on looking at them, like in my ear, I just heard a voice whisper in my ear. It was so close. I felt the breath. The
oh,
voice,
that's so weird.
the voice whispered my bro's name. His nickname is
Right.
his full name is Zyraf, but his nickname is Rap Rap. So he legit went in my ear. Okay, I'm not the type to get like
Yeah.
scared like that. But when I heard it, I turned around. There was no one in the room. I looked back to the window, two of my brothers are there. So what I did, I silently walked slowly out of their room and sprinted downstairs. And I was like at my dad. And he didn't even
Yeah.
question me. He just thought, oh, this kid. But then ever since then, I have never told that story after how many years, like 7 years. I've never
Yeah.
told that story in the longest time until recently, a few years ago. And I think that's the only experience I ever had that's like, I don't know if it's my mind playing with me, if it's something, but I heard it. Okay, I heard it.
Yeah.
And what makes it scarier is that my bro, my bro, he actually sleep talks. So
Yeah.
it's like scary because knowing that he does sleep talk. And what if that voice is like the one that he's sleep talking with? I'm just like,
Oh, that's imagine.
oh yeah, that never happened, and ever. That was the first time. That was the first experience that I ever been in. That's like that.
Yeah. When I was like around 10 years old, we had a driver. It sounds so weird saying that. We had someone dropping us off to school and picking us up. I forgot his name. I just call him Kuya, right? So yeah, Kuya picked us up and dropped us off school and stuff like that. So I was walking to church, right? I was walking. I think I was with my cousins as well, and my siblings. So we were walking because I live near my church, maybe about 10-minute walk or so. So I was walking, and then I saw the tricycle, and he was on it. He's the one driving it, right? And then he saw me and he waved at me. So I waved back and I said, "Oh, it's Kuya." And then I told my brother and my cousins, but they were like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see him." But I said, "Oh, maybe because he drove too fast or something." So I attended church, and then we were walking home, and then as soon as I got home, like my mom, my auntie, and everyone's like gathered around the living room and everything, and I was just like the little kid stuff like that, and then I heard his name. They were talking about him, like Kuya, blah blah blah, stuff like that.
He died.
Obviously, I wasn't really listening, and then I was just like, "Oh yeah, I saw him earlier. He waved at me, and so I waved at him." And then my parents was like, "What are you talking about? He was just in a car crash or something."
I got goosebumps.
Yeah, it was like he was in a car crash or something, and he died because he was in a tricycle or something. He was in his tricycle, and then he passed. He was in a crash, and then he passed away. And I was like, but I saw him this morning. I was like, oh, do you remember? I told you this morning I saw him. I was like, yeah, we didn't see him. I was like, but I saw he waved at me. And then I think it was my mom or the other auntie or uncle. They were like, maybe he was like saying goodbye to you or something.
Oh my
And I
god.
was like, I was like, I didn't know what to think.
And
But
then you got whole body goosebumps, bro.
yeah, no, trust me. For some reason, I was the only one. Maybe it was someone else.
Were you close to him in any way?
Yeah, because he picks us up every day. He drops us off to school every day. I was close to him. But it's just for some reason, like, yeah, because I was thinking to myself, right? I was like, if it wasn't him, why was this guy particularly waving at me and saying hi?
He
And then
looked at you like,
yeah, and I looked at him, and it was like, from what I remember, it was him. So for our audience participation, we asked you guys question relating to the topic. I'll go start with my one. I'll pick five as usual. So I asked you guys, what would you do if you were in a horror film, right? So I'll pick up the best five. I have so many good ones. Trust me, when I was reading them earlier today, I was just cracking up. The first one, I want to give a shout out to at Melody J. She said cry, then probably be killed second. I love how she was like, I have to be second.
I'm not the first. I'm the second.
I will cry first, and then I will die. So the second one, it's probably the best answer. At Aliyah.na, so Aliana, she said, flirt with the mumu. So mumu is I guess Tagalog for ghost. So she said she will flirt with the ghost. I mean, you do you. The third one, um, I'll give a shout out to at j.kasuga because he did give like really sensible answers. Um, except for one. He did give me a lot of answers, but I'll just mention one. Um, okay, this one, it relates to what Zefarra said earlier. He said, "Don't be a hero. Don't be a hero. Come on, you're not the main character."
If I was the main character, I wouldn't be in a horror film in the first
This
place.
is not your film. Go back off, right? The fourth one. Let's see. Let's see what's a good one. Okay, the fourth one at Paul J RSA. So Paul, he said, "Cry and accept that I'm probably not gonna make it to the end because I can't run away from the horror. But even though you can't run, you can zoom out.
Trust me. Get some like boosters up there. Right? You got some turbo. Like,
Yeah,
you
get a
can cry for
turbo.
that.
I can't believe you would cry, Paul. Yeah, just get a turbo or something.
Well,
leave everyone.
save yourself first.
Um, okay, the last one, because there's so many good ones, but okay, the last one, I'll pick at Bal Atwell. He said, "Help the villain." So Bao, Bao is actually like a really tall guy. He's a big guy. Imagine you're in a movie, Chucky, and you're helping Chucky. So you're like, you have that little doll, and then you get this big guy, like a bodyguard or something.
I'd love to see that.
Bro, I'm like, nah, kill me first.
I'll pay to see that.
Yeah, I'm like, kill me first. Before I ask you for your one, let me ask you first. What would you do if you were in a horror movie?
Oh my gosh, if I were in a horror movie, I'd be the investigator.
Why is that?
I'd be the one to actually, like know what's happening. Like, know what's happening, investigate, but I wouldn't be the one to take action in the real stuff like that. I investigate, oh, okay, and then I go. I'm leaving. I just like find out what's going on and then leave. So my question was, what character stereotype would you be in a horror film? Okay, so I'm gonna choose the short ones first. So this one from Mixvella at Mixvella, she said, "The killer, love hot." I'm like, okay. So her stereotype, she would be the villain, but I think she'll be one of them.
Shocky Bride.
Wow.
I'm joking. She'll be Sadako.
Yeah, with her long thick hair, I mean, she could be a luscious looking Sadako,
or the zombie.
Yeah. And this one from at Billy_Lavery. This is one of my co-worker friends. We always talked about this from before, but he said, the guy named Billy that dies first because he doesn't take the threat seriously. Because he would always stereotype himself as
he's a
a
joker.
white guy that always dies first, like the background white. He always like says that about himself.
The token white guy. The Joker, yeah, is the Joker.
Yeah, it's because his name is very common, like Billy. He always makes fun of his name. So next is, this is my favorite one. I think this is me as well. At Jessa CM. She said, "The one who leaves all my friends behind to save myself. Sorry, not sorry." I mean, she's not wrong there. But in horror films, it is a survival of the fittest, okay?
Okay, so what if the scenario? What if the horror film is like the villain's like a ghost, right? What if the
Okay.
ghost follows you, and then the group will be like, "Yes, thank you, Jess, for sacrificing yourself."
Wow. Well then. See, well, in my head, I'm being selfish, but in their minds, it's selfless. So I guess it's a win-win. I'm doing my part still. And fourth one, oh, this one. Fourth one from at X Jasmine. She said, "The logical one, but probably one of the first ones to get eaten because I can't run. Hashtag
Wait, what's the hashtag?
unfit."
Same, same.
Maybe we can win in your horror games, but in a horror film where you have to physically run, I'm with her on this one. And last one. Okay, this one. Last one to sum it all up. Well, not really sum it all up. Last one from Schlees. Okay. I don't know how to say her username, but at Ashley Espiritu.
Yeah.
She said, "The tough girl that ain't afraid of nothing."
Oh,
Which
okay.
is the fearless type in the horror film who you would probably go behind when you see something scary. So she's that girl.
So for our top recommendation, I'd like to recommend anything to you guys. This can be a book, an app, anything really. So let's get Zefarra to go first.
I actually had a top recommendation before this podcast, but I thought of a new one during. So I've changed it. It is my top recommendation would be No Sleep from Reddit. If you guys don't know it, it's where people post short stories, fake or not. It's their choice, really, if you want to believe that it's real or not. And, it differs from thriller to horror stories. So it's an app called No Sleep, and I think it's a branch from Reddit. So if you want to read something scary before you go to sleep, if you like the thrill, go download that app and read some.
Awesome. Okay. For my one, it's unrelated to the topic because for some reason, obviously, gonna be food. So my one's actually food. I actually found this through TikTok, but
Oh,
I I'm not really sure where it originated from. But from my research, apparently it came from YouTube channel Way of Ramen,
I
and
know.
they found it from someone from Japan. So basically, it's a really popular hacks from Japan. So if you have a normal cheap instant ramen, and if you want to elevate it, you get your Kewpie mayo, you mix it with the seasoning packet, and add extra garlic. So you mix that, and then you add water, the hot water, and then it basically makes the broth creamier, and a lot more richer. I actually tried it, and I've been that's like the only way I eat ramen now, like cheap ramen. So I highly suggest it. And also, if you have chili oil, sprinkle it on top. So especially if you're like a uni student and you're
Definitely a hack.
your skin and you want a good food, and if you have spring onions, sprinkle on top. Chef kiss.
For my quote of the week, it's from my original recommendation. It is a quote from a webtoon that I'm currently reading called Jungle Juice. I suggest you guys read that. So this quote of the week is, "Wanting to be a valedictorian is one thing, but shouldn't you learn how to be a human being first?" That's the sneak peek of the webtoon, so I highly suggest that you read that.
So that's it for our episode. I know it's again a new topic, never before been explored in this podcast, but it's actually quite fun. Um, it's actually quite fun, and I'm really grateful for our recurring guest, Zefarra. Thank you so much for tuning in again and becoming a wonderful guest. Um, but yeah, thank you,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you. I hope you sleep well tonight.
I hope I do.
I hope you sleep well tonight.
Actually, thing is, I'm currently playing a horror game right now, and I've been having dreams about that game every night. So
Just pray it, girl. Just pray it, girl. Anyways, if you want to give your shout out and your social media, go for it.
I don't know. I guess a shout out to all those who answered. All you guys will be shouted out, and also shout out to my brother, who I
Ruff,
mentioned in this
ruff.
podcast, which is Raf. Maybe it's because your sleep talking got me my first situation ever to be experienced by me. So I guess shout out to you, bro. Oh, his social media is at Zyraph. See, it's ZYERAPH. Also, shout out to GameZen. It's at GameZen Official. Anyway, that's our game podcast that me and my friend Mika is hosting, and we'll be back for season 2 on May.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a secret.
No, on May.
May.
We have 4 episodes in season 1, so go check that out. Also, if you want to follow me for any personal updates on my life, you might not care for it, but it's at Zefarra, ZEFARRA.
My shout out for this week, again, it's just to everyone watching. I know season 2 is quite long, but I've enjoyed it. So hopefully those tuning in, you guys have enjoyed it, and I hope you guys like my haircut because
I didn't realize.
yeah, I had a haircut. It's like bold. Yeah. So the just to let you know, the hashtag for this week is actually "Don't be a hero." So keep in mind in the for the future. Well, whether you be in a bank robbery or in a horror movie with Chucky and Bao, don't be a hero.
It's a hack for life. It's a life hack.
Don't be a hero. Just eat the ramen.
Oh, stay at home and eat ramen.
Stay home. But yeah, if you want to answer more of my audience participation question, you can follow me on Instagram at Making Sense with Cobinho or become a patron at patreon.com/Making Sense with Cobinho. That's it for our episode for today. Thank you very much. See you again next Monday. Bye.